Hello, and welcome to this second in a set of videos on using maps for family research, and in particular families of Polish heritage, although the research methods described here are general in nature. These videos are intended to be work-along sessions where you will be pausing the video from time to time to perform the actions described in the videos. Or you can just watch the videos all the way through and go back and run them again to do your own family research. As mentioned in part 1 of this set of videos, once we have established our line of ancestors back to Mieszko, it's nice to actually learn something about where our ancestors came from and how they lived. This video focuses on how maps, and especially old maps, can tell us something about Babcia's old country. As with part 1 in this set of videos, we will be using this 6-step process for using maps for family research. Part 1 in this set of videos focused on place search engines to address step 1 in the 6-step process, and used just one map search engine in step 3 to find an old map. Here in this second video, we focus on 4 map search engines to help us find old maps that can tell us more about our ancestors. And as with part 1, we will use case studies for this family tree to demonstrate the use of the tools covered in this video. For case study 1, we will focus on Kasparas Pałczyński and Mariana Wegnerovna. So with no further ado, let's start working through the 6-step process by identifying the first place that we will be looking for. Here is the Poznań Project search results for this couple, indicating that they were married in Gonzawa in 1833. Let's move on to step 2 and find this place using Google Maps, which is one of the place search engines we used in part 1 of this video series. Here is Gonzawa on Google Maps. While here, click on the Wikipedia link for this page. Here we can learn a lot about this place and its noteworthy church, which is probably where Kasparas and Mariana were married. Speaking of the church, click on its link back on Google Map. This opens up a box for the church, which has its own website. The church's website tells us even more about the place that Kasparas and Mariana were married. Before moving on to the next step in the 6-step process, we need to have a little better idea of where Gonzawa is, and zooming out on the Google map shows us that it is northeast of Poznań and southwest of Bydgoszcz. Zooming back in a bit shows that it is a bit east of Gniezno and just south of Żnin. Having an idea of where Kasparas and Mariana were married, let's find this place on an old map. For this first case study, we will be using the David Rumsey map collection. The David Rumsey collection has over 113,000 maps online from all over the world, spanning the 16th through the 21st centuries. This is a very valuable source for old maps, and if you will be using old maps to learn more about your ancestors, it is worth a few minutes of your time to check out their blog page. Here we will be using the collection's MapRank search page, so you might want to navigate over there before continuing. On the MapRank search page, you will use the time slider bar and the zoom feature to focus in on the time period and part of the world you are interested in. As you now know, Gonçalves is between Poznań and Bydgoszcz, and Kasparas and Mariana were married in 1833, so use the time slider and zoom to limit your map search. As you also now know, Gonçalves is between Żnin and Gniezno, so you can zoom the map in even further. Now on the right side of your screen, you will see the Instant Search Results panel that shows all of the maps in the Rumsey collection that meet your search conditions. A nice feature of the MapRank search method of finding maps in the Rumsey collection is that if you scroll down the search results panel and hover over a map, a box appears around the section of the search space covered by the map. Noting that Gonçalves lies between Żnin and Gniezno, let's try the Exen map of 1893, which you can get by clicking on the Exen link in the Instant Search Results. This brings up a map where here we expect to find Gonçalves. Now that we have an old map where we expect to find Gonçalves, our next task is to find this place. If you zoom in on the map, you should be able to find the largest town of Żnin, which we know to be a bit north of Gonçalves. So scrolling down from Żnin, we find Gonçalves and the location of the church where Kasparas and Mariana were married. Overlaying the Google Earth map onto the old map shows that some things in Gonçalves have not changed drastically over the years. Now let's see how to get a map in the Rumsey collection. To download a map in the Rumsey collection, click on the Export tab at the top right of the page showing the map. You will want the extra large version of the map, so click on that option. It will take some time for Rumsey to create the export, so be patient. On my browser, I get this indication when a download is complete. Clicking on the icon opens a box where I choose Save As to save the map to my computer. Another way to get the map is to click on the Share tab and then copy and paste the link to the map in your browser. That way you can always get back to the online version of the map. When downloading maps from collections like Rumsey's, it is a good idea to determine exactly what you can do with the downloaded map. Navigating back to the Rumsey homepage and following the About and Copyright and Permissions links, we see that Rumsey places no restrictions on our use of his maps, so thank you, Mr. Rumsey. Let us now move on to our second case study, where we will now be using the Mapster search engine to find old maps of Poland. Our Poznań project search for Kasparas and Mariana revealed Kasparas' parents to be Adalbertus Pałczyński and Hedwigas Olszakowna. A Poznań project search for this couple reveals a couple that could be Kasparas' parents who were married in Nieczanowo back in 1800, so this is the place we are looking for in step 1 of our process. Let's see what we can find out about Nieczanowo that can help us determine if Adalbertus and Hedwigas, with no last names, were really Kasparas' parents. For this second case study, we will use Wikipedia to find out where Nieczanowo is. Wikipedia has found Nieczanowo and revealed the important fact that the place has the German name Nyenstedt, which may be useful when looking for this place on old maps. To find the place, click on the coordinates in the upper right corner of the Wikipedia screen. This takes us to the GeoHacks page for Niechanovo, where we will use OpenStreetMap to find Niechanovo. Zooming out, we see that Niechanovo is southeast of Poznań and just beyond Środa Wielkopolska. With that knowledge, let's find Niechanovo on an old map. As mentioned, we will be using Mapster to find this place. Part 1 of this video went into detail on how to use Mapster, so we'll move along quickly here. As covered in Part 1, Mapster provides access to 3 map sets that can be very useful in searching for old maps of Poland. Here are the index sheets for these map sets. As you can see, they pretty much cover all of what is now Poland. Knowing that Niechanovo is around Poznań, we choose the Karta des Deutschen Reiches collection of maps of Western Poland. Zooming in on the Poznań region, and then clicking on the Miłosław block should lead to maps that show Niechanovo. Here is what Mapster has found. We choose this large file with high resolution to look for Niechanovo. Here is the map where we expect to find Niechanovo. Now that we have a place that should show Niechanovo, let's find the place on the map. We know about where Niechanovo should appear on the Miłosław map, so let's zoom in on the upper left quadrant of the map. And here it is, just where we expected. As we mentioned in Part 1 of this set of videos, some of the map sets available through Mapster are highly detailed, so here is a close-up of the area around Niechanovo. Zooming in further, we see some of the landmarks in the area. Now overlaying the Google Earth image of this area, we see that there is still some evidence of even some minor features in the area. Knowing where Adalbertus and Hedvigus were married, we can go to this place on Google Earth, which provides a link to the parish church where they were married. Following the Wikipedia link to the parish, we find the parish homepage. Scrolling down the page takes us to a movie showing a drone's eye view of the church where Adalbertus and Hedvigus were married, which an email to the pastor assures us is the same church that stood in Niechanovo back in 1800. So, short of actually visiting the church, this is about as good as it gets in terms of using maps to learn more about our ancestors. So, how do we get this nice map? To get the map, right-click on the map, and then select Save Image As to start downloading the map to your computer. Or you can copy, paste, and bookmark the web version of the map so that you can get back to the map in the future. Here's how you can find out what you can do with the map. Back on the Mapster Found Maps webpage, click on the arrow for your map to get more information about the map. For this map, the Map Information page gives you some good news about how you can use this map. While we are on this page, note that this map actually comes from the David Rumsey Map Collection. This points out an important advantage of Mapster, which is that this source aggregates maps from multiple collections. Note also that this particular map comes from the Karte des Deutschen Reiches map collection at Rumsey that we used in a previous case study, further emphasizing the importance of the Rumsey collection. Now let's move on to our next case study. In case study 1, we found the church where Kasparas and Mariana were married. Now we will track down where their son Stanislaus married Konstanza Buciak, which happens to be Ostrovo na Gopłem. For this example, we will skip right to step 3 in our process, where we will use Meyer's Gazetteer to find Ostrovo na Gopłem. Here we are at Meyer's Gazetteer, where we start our search by entering just Ostrovo. Meyer's Gazetteer comes back with several possible matches for Ostrovo. So let's try match 4, which seems like it might be the place we are looking for. Here is what Meyer's Gazetteer returns for match number 4. Clicking on Map takes us to an old map that shows a place that may be the place we are looking for. Examining some additional information on the marriage record for Stanislaus and Konstantia, and searching around a bit on the old map, we can be pretty certain that the place Meyer's Gazetteer found is indeed the place that this couple was married. With another good match between the old map and a current view of this place. Google Earth identifies the church in Ostrovo na Gopłem as the Church of St. Matthew, which also has a nice website. The church history on the parish website indicates that Stanislaus and Konstanza were married in the newly renovated church, showing once again how maps can lead to interesting insights into the lives of our ancestors. This parish does not have a nice movie like the Church of All Saints in Nieczanowo, but if we use the Street View feature in Google Earth, we can virtually visit the church. Now, just in case there was any doubt left about whether the Ostrovo na Gopłem that we found was the right one, check out the actual marriage records for Stanislaus and Konstanza, which shows the place that they were living as Jánosin. Back on our old map of the area, here is Jánosin, just up from Ostrovo. Now, going back to the Meyer's Gazetteer homepage and clicking on the About link, we see that the maps in Meyer's Gazetteer come from the Rumsey collection, and in fact come from the Karte des Deutschen Reiches collection. For our fourth case study, we will demonstrate how old maps can be useful in solving some pretty challenging genealogical questions. As we have seen, Kasparas' parents were Adalbertus Pauczynski and Hedwigas Olszakowna, and we did find a marriage record for an Albertus and Hedwigas from about the right time in history, but with no recorded last names. So were Albertus and Hedwigas really the parents of Kasparas? To answer this question, we will again jump right to step 3 in our process and return to David Rumsey to find a helpful map. Here we see an 1803 map from the Rumsey collection for the area around Nieczanowo. The map shows 2 villages in the area with names that provide pretty good evidence that Adalbertus was indeed a Pauczynski. Searching around a bit more provides evidence that the unknown Hedwigas was the same person as Kasparas's mom, Hedvigas Olshakovna. Having concluded several in-depth case studies showing how old maps can help us learn more about our ancestors, we will briefly review the Gesher-Galicia map room, one more important source of old maps of Poland. As the Gesher-Galicia homepage states, this site focuses on Jewish genealogical and historical research in Galicia, but also provides access to maps that can be useful for a broad scope of genealogical research. Click on Knowledge Base and then Map Room to get to this section of Gesher-Galicia. This takes you to the Gesher-Galicia map room, where we will now take a look at some regional maps. On the Regional Maps page, click on Maps of the Partition of Poland. As you may know, there was no country of Poland between 1772 and 1918. Rather, the country was divided up between Russia, Prussia, and Austria. Knowing which of these parts of Poland your ancestors came from can be an aid in genealogical research. Gesher-Galicia has a series of maps that can help out here, one example being the William Fadden map of the third partition of Poland in 1799. Zooming in on this map to look for the home region of the Palczynski family that we've been following here, shows that this region was in Prussia during the period that we have been examining here. By the way, this particular map comes from none other than the David Rumsey map collection, so another reason to become familiar with that source of old maps. Another potentially useful element of Gesher-Galicia is the cadastral map section. The topic of cadastral maps is beyond the scope of this video, but we'll just say that this type of map provides information such as the legal owners of individual parcels and the economic use and value of each parcel. This means that you can potentially learn something about the actual house that Babcha lived in. So in review, this and part 1 of this video series have provided numerous examples of how to use this 6-step process for using maps for family research. They have also provided examples of how to use several place search engines and shown you how to use several sources of old maps. Thanks for watching this video, and best of luck using old maps to learn more about your ancestors. And, of course,